Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got some stats. Some points. I like to call it because I actually was talking about it. Oh yeah. Let's not get started on the whole stat discussion. As I said, I thought ENCE were the worst team on Sanhok, and now with GamerLegion winning that game, they actually are. They were 15th, but they're now 16th, so they've got 43 points on 15 maps. 15 maps of Sanhok, averaging what, 3 points a map. Bearing in mind, in contrast, N47 that dropped just north of them at Quarry are on 127 points.
This is the thing, right? We know ENCE have been struggling on the more established maps as it is. They've had some redeeming moments for sure, but when it comes to maps like Sanhok, I think stylistically it is their worst mismatch. I think they're slow, very cautious, very meticulous play of, you know, this patient come in late and just try and play the outskirts. You can't do it anymore unless you're, you know, maybe G2 last season, last phase, should I say, were able to frag into it. If they were put in a bad scenario, you'd send Chris in, he could dig you out of that bad spot. ENCE don't have that firepower anymore. Yeah,
it's just been lacking. And also those that have been watching the team streams or want to look at clips from the team streams, I can tell you there's a highlight moment that we missed on the stream because we were watching the GamerLegion FaZe and IP battle, which was embrawling. Obviously, it was worth watching.
Sure.
CrowCrowd and Razor Edge, bit of fun for them. It was Tiikzu was down to 30 bullets, I think, managed to get a knock with that 30 bullets, and had to run in and punch to get the flush.
I saw it on the kill feed, I was like,
NOOKIE
what?
was like, he's punching me, he's got no bullets left. I was just talking to NOOKIE and MizeDOG. He was like, he's got no bullets, and they ended up nading him and flushing him, and then obviously flushing their own teammate, and then we saw him obviously bleed out in the blue CrowCrowd, so yeah.
Yeah, I did wonder why I saw a punch in the kill feed that late. I was like, okay, there we go, alright, well, that makes sense now.
No bullets left, so it's just, that's how low loot sometimes you can be. Can we do these stretches before playing? That's what I like to see.
Good stuff. There's the speeder man.
Yeah. I hope they washed them since the other day. I got a second pair, I don't know. Just saying, they were wearing them.
It's liquid, they get hooked up.
You know what it is?
Right. What is it?
They were wearing them yesterday, right?
Is the winning jersey.
They won 2 games yesterday, and they had a really good time yesterday, so maybe just returning it. They've got undershirts and everything on, obviously, so it's all good. Captain of the team, Rory, having a discussion. Good to hear from Dids, actually, just talking about how he's made it like a family environment. They watch whatever TV shows, they watch them together. That's what you want in a gaming house. You don't want to just be everyone off in the room doing their own thing. Yeah, it helps sometimes, but you also want that togetherness of doing activities just other than just gaming.
So, you know, for me, I think you don't have to be best friends with everyone in your team.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. You are going to work. At the end of the day, this is it. But it can definitely help because it doesn't feel like a grind. You're not having those internal clashes of personality. As long as you have that good balance of you treat it like a job when you need to. If you can have fun with people in your team when you're away from it, brilliant. It's not a must-have, but it's definitely a bonus, and it can definitely add to the atmosphere in the team.
I'm still a massive fan of having an office rather than a gaming house.
I'm with you as well.
And having individual apartments. And I do know that some of the League of Legends teams here in Berlin, because obviously there's a lot of them to share. I know Team Liquid are in a house with their house. There's multiple League of Legends teams on that same building.
I see.
There is one team, I think Schalke, that's there. But there's also individual players. So some of the teams, some of the more established players that obviously are a bit more well paid, have their own apartments. And then obviously we've got the likes of G2 who have a big base here. You know, the teams that have big established offices within Berlin. It's becoming a bit of an esports hub.
It is. It definitely is. And I'm with you on that. I think CS was always the big proponent initially of the team houses, everyone in together, live,
that was a no look high five from Monkey there.
Outstanding.
He was just like staring at the camera.
Real cash. Yeah. But I think you saw it in CS, and then teams got burnt out because in games like this, you argue with your teammates. It's not like a personal argument, but you have disagreements, and you have to have either a good coach or an IGL who can then dissolve the situation, kind of bring it back to the core of it, and give you a resolution. And if you're just living and breathing with these people, you just get wound up. You can start getting frustrated. Maybe your IGL, you're not agreeing with some of the calls, but you have no good way of processing it, and then you have to go, you know, have dinner with them in a second, and it's just too much. It has to be treated in a professional atmosphere. Sometimes teams will be fine, and that's all they can work with, and you got to, you know, hunker down and crack on with it. But I know we will start seeing burnout between teams.
And this is the pressure point. You know, the pressure point in the whole tournament will be leading up to these last 2 games this week, and of course the 21 games we're going to be playing out next weekend, and that's going to be beginning on Thursday. So we're going to be starting an extra day early. A lot of action, and it's going to be a 6-game day on the final Sunday to see who will be going to PGC, who will be going to the promos. There's a lot of action still to be played out. 23 games is all that remains in the league, as we are over 2/3 of our way through now.
And here we are, Erangel, the classic, and we've had some wonderful games yesterday. I think that ending that we saw with Liquid, SIMSY popping off, and that N47 move was so well thought through. There's so much going on in those games that I absolutely love witnessing. So I'm hoping we see some more of that. I'd love to see some really unorthodox circles. I'm sure we won't, just because I'm excited by it. But still, we'll find out how it goes down. The playing path, it's a little bit of a stretch for some teams. It may not be purely comfortable, but they should all be able to make it to their destination.
Watch this one be a mountain hill standard. Standard finish, just sort of Gatka North sort of the side of things. But we'll see. And maybe we'll get... Remember we had that, actually it was with Richard, we had that deep mill to power circle. It was like right down by the beach sort of way.
I always love mill to power because I love the forest around there too. The lumberyard and the rundown from it, the kind of like burnt out trees. It's such an awkward position for teams. Like, again, I like the ones that make teams have to work a little harder, which sucks for them, but I think it's such an exciting one to watch. So far, I'm not seeing anything too wild. I think we're pretty much as expected.
Yeah, everybody's kind of in. All right. We're back in the fields. Yay. Actually, to be fair, it was entertaining. We had that
CrowCrowd end. Well, they didn't win it, but in that compound.
Well, no, I was thinking of the field ending. We had Team Liquid, TSM.
Yeah, the hunt for the shack, right?
Raise Your Edge?
I think it was Raise Your Edge, because they nicked the shack off the
shack
right?
that ENCE were in, and then G2 came in and died, and then Raise Your Edge came in, and we had about 9 vehicles at one shack.
Yeah, all piled up. I think that'd be nice. Again, I think it's just really fun to see variety in it. FaZe are about to get to Milta so they can start their looting process. Desperado's heading up towards they like to go. So I think everyone's getting to their destinations now. Overall, looking at who comes out well in these scenarios, Na'Vi generally do a very strong game from these sort of circles. We have seen Liquid doing quite nicely. And we'll find out who actually gets that form coming into this.
Very dramatic through the church of Pochinki. Team Liquid still in their loot path. We'll see whether they decide to move early. Center point for this circle is just actually quite tricky, to be fair. It's that big compound at 7 and nearby at the moment, but it's that big compound just to the east of Quarry. It's one of those large indefensible. What's the indefensible? I guess is the word I'm after there. Points wise, Team Liquid have crept in to the 500 club. Seeing whether N47 can join them there. CrowCrowd are hot on their heels. I think they're having the second from best performance this week. And Na'Vi have also had a very good week, by the way, as well. I think they're 90 odd points this week so far. So some big performances from the top teams. And it has, as you can see, spread the field somewhat. There's starting to be this rather large gap forming. Still NIP 2 points behind G2, though.
Yeah.
Neither team performing this week.
No, I think they've kind of stagnated around the middle there, and I don't see this changing too much, if I'm honest, at the moment. If they go back and change things up, maybe.
If Rex suddenly put in a bit of a performance next week,
they can jump.
They could jump up that leaderboard. Yeah.
And I've been liking some of their rotations too. I think Reciprocity, they're starting to. They've always read the circles well. I think we saw that in Miramar with that Eastern play, the Picardo performance. They can do really, really well when that happens. So I'm hoping we see more of that. We do see a little bit of contact made. Kravik
talking about the center point. This is it. This is that large compound. Exactly what I was talking about. Very much indefensible. And GamerLegion are now in your house, Kravik. They're in your house. And they've took it.
Yeah, 7 spread here is fine.
This was the exact same house that we had 7 and Team Liquid at yesterday.
Yeah.
Friday? Yesterday?
I don't remember. Days blend. Yeah, 7 being split. Okay, so the thing is, right, and it's hard to explain because some people sit there and are like, well, sometimes you're really favorable of a split and then sometimes you're really critical. I think when you are in the, I guess, hottest territory, the prime cut, you need to be careful, and the balance is very fine between, okay, let's get our loot, let's get to the center point, let's hold it down as, you know, 1 player, 2 player, whatever it is. But you have to be so aware of when teams start rotating if this circle hits. And none of them are surprised by now. They'll know that, okay, well, around the 4-minute mark, we're going to start getting pressure. So we need to be ready by that point.
That's good, speedy play, because that was 420, 430 that they got hit by GamerLegion, who drop in the yellows. So that's good play from GamerLegion, who are obviously feeling the confidence after picking up their win in Sanhok. I'm trying to think where their other win was, whether it was an Erangel or Miramar, whether they were looking towards the Chicken Dinner World Tour. You got to say it like that, by the way.
Oh, you do?
You do. That's how you say it.
Damn, I'm missing out.
Team Liquid, by the way, still in Pachinki, just coming out of it. They're playing this one a little more casual.
We'll see how that goes for them. I like a little bit of variety.
Well, it's down to the fact that there is that compound that we just saw GamerLegion taking, and there's this gigantic open field.
Yeah.
With little shacks in. You're not going to go to those shacks yet. You either go in the hills where there's a couple of trees, but you could get pushed from any direction. So they've gone for a 2-2. So that is the, how can I say this? The compound just north of the crossroads. You can see it now where James and EB are. That compound north of the crossroads by the bridge, and they've gone with the hillside position compound, well, just a bit south of Pachinki.
There we go. You get to see it nice and clearly.
That's a lot clearer now. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see. I don't need to be in my radio commentator voice to describe everything to you.
And I actually quite like how Liquid are playing this. They're not high priority takes. They need to get very aware of teams coming in around maybe the 7-minute mark, because they're the ones kind of just falling in from the outskirts.
They're going to get crashed by G2, I think.
Yeah, your G2s, any of these teams. So if you are in a 2-2, you better be ready to fight. G2 might just take the hillside here, go forest, or they might opt for the battle because they have 4. If they can scout this quickly and work out, all right, well, who's here? What are we up against? What's the scenario?
It's so hard to defend with 2, with 4, even let alone 2.
It is, because there's that run up. It's hard to keep every angle covered.
Well, TSM, who have taken their standard Sosnovka route, which is almost to avoid G2, they might get cut off here. I think Chris is looking down towards that bridge as well. They may turn their attention. So Braexco's about to scout it. Yeah, and there you go. There's the call from Chris. They're coming across the bridge. G2 are going to try and catch TSM off guard here.
Let's see if TSM are ready. Michael's already through, so that might be a bit of a problem if they catch one of the kind of late comers to this. Chris, not sure if he's going to do much. I think TSM are okay. They've just kind of swerved to the left. Yeah, they should be all right. I think G2 maybe spotted it a little too late. Maybe you don't want to engage with Yannis not being there. You don't want to get in that 2-2 awkward position when you have maybe Liquid finding a bit of room to fight towards you as well. So you have to kind of pick your battles at that point, even though it might be very tempting.
Look at FaZe. Look at FaZe. Well, raise your edge on the mountain. That's, I mean, that's in the circle. But FaZe, by the way, are actually going to go across the east bridge onto Sosnovka. So they were going north. Don't know what they saw. They obviously saw something that they felt they were getting covered. Something set the nerves tingling, and they've gone across east bridge to Sosnovka, and they're going to go east to west bridge.
Yeah,
they haven't had much luck along that beach road, right? They've with G2 and TSM and co. It's been that's a big rotate though from FaZe. Nice drive, mxey.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird. I almost hope we get to hear why they've opted to do this. I wonder what the call was. This is where it'd be so nice to be able to kind of have those the comms, the comms coming in. Obviously, it's hard to work out when that's going to happen. We can't just leave their comms open the whole time. There's a lot of players and a lot of people discussing things, but you do wonder like what adjustments made them approach for this. What happened with the circle? Is it because they were late getting to Milter and they looted late?
I first saw them, they were north of Farm. So there was something that they saw maybe at Potato Hill or something somewhere that spooked them, that made them say, no, we're going back. We're going to go back over here, take a long rotate, and come in over the hill. And I don't even think they're going to go over the West Bridge. I think they're just going to sit here and wait first, and then go over the bridge once the circle shifts, and they can, because they like to generally be on the move the second the circle's hit, so they're already making the pass. So I think we're going to see them sticking around here until the circle really shifts and they have to commit. Yeah, Fuzzy's just scouting the bridge out.
Yeah, why not? It's a good plan. They can move over towards it. They could go petrol station if they want. And actually a nice read on the circle. I don't think they knew it was going to go south. But this does make it a bit of an issue for the teams that committed towards Gatka and even the hill to the south of it. It moves you away, and it looks like the field's become very playable. So that forest, again, to the south of the open field, to the east of Quarry, just south of it, I guess. I've just described everything. North of Ferry Pier, across the road. You know where it is.
The entire area.
Point is, that forest line becomes quite busy now because it's the only access point you're going to get easy kind of approach to. The reason I like Liquid's 2-2 split is because it wasn't a high priority compound, but it also gave you access to both north or south shift, and they've quickly put their pieces together back on the southern position now.
Yeah, so Team Liquid together, G2 would have seen them coming in. They also would have seen FaZe coming in behind them. So TSM looking to see what position do they want. Are they thinking this is going to be, oh, Michael, careful, son, you're going to bump in close to N47. DA working their way down south. CrowCrowd and the South Chopsticks compounds taking shots on DA there. Reciprocity also just in the hills ahead of them. So once again...
Oh, NOOKIE? He stole that one?
From South Chopsticks that was. Okay, good steal.
Luminic.
But again, this is DA pulling in a little late, trying to find a home. They have kind of crept in behind Razor Edge, who are taking shots themselves from the Knights. So they might be out of third party this one.
I would say, though, with Razor Edge's position, it's actually quite a defensible little area. It's one that's, I think it's one that's got the kind of rocks to the hill. You overlook the smaller house. I think it's that one. I might actually be wrong. I'm not too sure. My brain is just mush at the moment. But again, it's not the worst position in the world. You've kind of got that very divisive split here of north and south teams. Again, do you remember that northeast side we saw before it went?
Team Liquid.
Oh, Liquid, be careful, boys. You're being a little bit brazen to push out this compound here.
This is they're yeah, okay, that's enough. They're all going to run back downhill now. Yeah, that was enough of a warning. They're just like, is there somebody on this? Yeah, there is. Let's go back. Let's get the hell out of here. Nice little cheeky 180 from Maybe as he jumps backwards to cover the backside of James. Everybody back in there. So they got away with that, I would say, without losing someone. I guess it was a big gathering information play they had to play. It's a very interesting circle if to keep your eye on the map, because we're talking about these fields, this area sort of north of Team Liquid, those couple of shack plays. Nobody wants to commit to them yet. Yep. They may have to in the next... Linksy. They may have to commit to it in the next circle.
Is he there? Why is he sat in a car?
He's holding
like
the
that?
angle. He's holding the angle.
What angle is he holding? If we went first person, maybe I'd understand. I have no idea why he's like that. I mean, who am I to judge? Maybe there's method to the madness. The pull up from ENCE. Look how passive ENCE are.
Primor's kill.
Why are they so scared of everything? Nothing is easy for ENCE. They are filled with terror.
Yeah, they need to change that tag. Actually, in fairness, you know, since they had the easy for ENCE tag, which obviously has come from Counter-Strike and where it's worked out for them, they've had no luck at all since the easy 4 tag came in. It has just been a bad luck charm for them. Okay. All right, do we go to the fields? Na'Vi are holding the same compound as the other week. Last time ENCE actually committed to one of those shacks. Razor Edge are going for the shacks already. Look at this. They're already on the move. They're already on the move.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, it is. It's the same circle. Same circle as Friday or Saturday. I don't know which one it was. Exact same circle.
Yeah, let's see how they hold this down. Because we have Razor Edge in 2 vehicles going to 2 different spots here. That's the first commitment. Where's the second? Linksy and Menox. Next, they try to split it. Well, no, just NBS. Can they overdo him?
No.
Yes. Ooh, the pull up and the run through. Linksy suffers. Menox can try and hold this back, though. He can try and be a real pain in the ass because they don't know he's there. Oh, this is madness. He's just snuck around. He does go down.
Took too long.
If he was clean.
Player, yeah. But oh my God, TSM have gone into the other Razor Edge compound. They've gone into, I say compound, the shack. Here's the shack play. No, Rory's car just rolled over Gustav. Oh my word, this is a disaster. Coleman meant to shoot his own teammate SIMSY to get out of the bloody way so he can move, and it doesn't work out. Razor Edge go down, TSM get the shack. Oh, do they? They got shot in the back. They've gone down as well. Oh my word.
The shacks of death.
And this is the same shack. This is the same shack.
LIP have it so far. They got 1.
Well, there's nobody in that shack that's in the middle. That was the shack that ended up with 9 cars. I think they're up to about 4 or 5 already. Good Lord. You know what? I'm going to see DA send it from the hill and get that shack.
Yeah, and Vard's just gone down as well. Oh, my word. This is mental. They should get arrived. I actually didn't mind that team kill then. I know it's really kind of weird to see. It's just so you can push out.
We had the NIP drive over their teammate because they had to drive over the other Razor Edge member. And obviously we had TSM drive over their player with Gustav getting knocked. And then we had Razor Edge call them into having to sacrifice SIMSY to get out the door.
God, what an absolute mess.
ENCE could get into that shack, you know. They're going way around north at the moment. All right, SKUIJKE. Showmanship. I wonder. The thing is, everybody just scouted that. GamerLegion saw that happen, so they probably have a theory that the shack is available, but they don't know. Because there's that many cars there, nobody knows. There could be a time where that shack ends up as the center point and nobody there.
ENCE trying to avoid everyone going on the furthest. They went from south
They're going
to
for the fields. They're going to the fields now. They're going for the shacks. It's the shack play for ENCE.
I don't think it is. I think they're too scared to go for that. They've gone to a shack. It's not the big one. I think they were going south to north to avoid teams. They're playing hyper passive, and now they've kind of just fallen into a bit of a...
Scary for ENCE.
Yeah. They've just fallen into this scenario where there's nowhere left, really. They can take this northeast spot, but you know that's not going to be available past this circle, probably.
You've lost your bike, son. That's it. That's your home now, SKUIJKE. You're committed. Okay. So it could pull away from the fields. We don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of territory still available in the circle, but these teams, you know, they're almost, as I say, seeing the mirror game of the other day and thinking, okay, this was our winning moment. And I wonder if Na'Vi are looking at the same thing. It's a similar circle once again, but this time it centers a little bit more on the south side, the big hill.
Yeah.
So it does pull away from the circle point. Again, it gave Na'Vi the exact same position. GamerLegion are delighted with that hillside position at the moment, as are G2.
Yeah, this is when it gets scary time for all the teams in the north because there's nothing available. CrowCrowd might be going for the shack as well. The Knights might be looking towards their best option. Buster goes down in the meantime. No trade back in for Sadovnik. Sadly, just not really having much here. Page out in the open, though, gets caught off. Nice shots from Sadovnik. Can't close it. And now, desperate for the flush. Trying to overreach on this one. See if he can quickly grab it. Oh, he doesn't want to overextend on it. But I think he's being denied it so far.
He's thinking, God, all I want is a point. A single point.
DA are going for the shack.
No, they've gone past it. They're going for the hill. They're going for the GamerLegion hill.
Oh, they're going for the further hill here, the little ditch.
Don't run over BeautflDeath.
Wait, did you see that bounce on the... Was that
bounced
smoke?
off the bike. It bounced off the bike. Look at it. It's gone all the way back over there because he threw it from the car. So there's so much speed. The trajectory of the physics engine has thrown it back that way. So Sadovnik got the kill confirmed. He worked hard for that one. Oh, ENCE are going to crash. Team Liquid.
Well, here it is. From 0 to hero.
Out. GamerLegion have found, obviously, DA. They were just below them, so the nade does the damage. But ENCE have got the compound.
No, they don't. Ibby is still there, and Ibby just did like a dead nade to the bottom of the house. And look at TRYFFELI's HP. It's nothing. And ENCE actually have the kind of, I guess, the lesser side of this. Teams in the open a little bit if they start peeking those windows, but I don't think they can. They're a little scared of this because I think Gemty might have the angle, but we can't really tell in this perspective.
And 47 trying to work the way out. Down south, Desperado's in Ferry Pier, but it's this battle. That's the nade going in. There's not a lot of room in that house, and that may well be the knock. It does. SKUIJKE gets knocked down. James will back to his house. How much util, how much nades do they have left? I think while they're going for the exchanges here, I don't think they're going to be able to flush them out unless they commit to it, and this is too early to commit.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about Gemty's angle. James was allowed that much freedom to push up there because Gemty just was watching those windows like a hawk. Anytime they moved out, they'd have the call. Sadovnik goes down. Remaining member of 7.
Uh-oh.
Gone, and oh dear, NOOKIE get the car has left you, there is no cover. Misa, run, boy, run.
He's got safe. NOOKIE went down though. And Team Liquid, they are going to commit to it. Okay.
I love this. Let's see if they can be clean about this, though. I love pushes like this because it's decisive. They're utilizing the open field. A risky play, but outdone. James batters miikaz, and that is how they got in here. That barrel on the other side could be a danger, could be a threat, but SKUIJKE goes down too. And Liquid are just so clean at this sort of work.
James flushes out. That's 2 from that compound gone. They're going to try and back away. Ibby's watching the back door, so they can't escape the house. So now the rest of Team Liquid, they can go through and execute into the next one. So nice play. Gemty moves back to get the angle covered off. And 2 members of ENCE are down.
This is the scary Liquid, isn't it? That methodical, that very clean, well-rounded, but then has the firepower.
It's the one that's been missing for 2 weeks. I think, I don't know what's happened, but they're back in action. And this is the form we wanted to see coming into the final weeks. They've woken up.
There he is. Look at that HP as well. 13 HP here.
Yeah, the headshot from miikaz, wasn't it? Committed. Love it. So, who's benefited from this? Look at that crate drop. Dead center. Come on, someone come and get it. The bait.
Oh, the nade! SAMTy, is it go time? Will they push this?
Yeah, Rustanmar,
Molly off the back too. They're going to just kind of area of denial this. Rustanmar can play the stairs, but I'd feel that'd be a trade. SAMTy goes it. Apparently not. SAMTy is just too good. He wins those fights every time. I've seen you win these.
SAMTy's up to, I think, 100 kills off the back of that, maybe. Definitely into the, I think he's in the 100 club now. He was obviously had that bonkers week where he picked up like 27 kills in one day. It was an insane week. Desperados, they're going for it, but they've gone straight towards GamerLegion. The circle's kind of pulled. G2 have got close to them. FaZe on the hill, G2 on the hill, GamerLegion on the hill. CrowCrowd pushing in onto the Knights, trying to get around there. Snark just runs straight in, Drayden on nothing around the back side of the compound. Do they realize he's still there? They said, do. They're going to try an underhand nade behind the compound. That's what I think he is. Reals makes a push on the side. Reciprocity moving in and getting involved.
Yeah, Drayden's barely being kept alive here. Trades between GamerLegion and... Oh, we are seeing the battle. Yeah, GamerLegion and G2 clashing. Drayden right now trying to play around that smoke. It's thicker than you think, but mxey goes down. Nice hip fire coming out from Drayden. And the push. Oh, Drayden again!
The boss goes in.
Play.
Absolutely demoralizing shout as he runs in there. Takes them all down. Weakened approach. G2 and GamerLegion going at it on the hillside, though. As, well, N47 getting caught out. Oh, Na'Vi are moving for the hill as well. So Na'Vi are moving in behind N47. As we see this battle play out, everybody looking for this hillside.
Yeah, it looks like an adjustment from Na'Vi to go for this on the sweep, and I like that. Bit of a contact being made here because the Desperados are turning their attention as well. So G2 here on that battle continuing. They're in smoke, and it's Na'Vi clearing up against Braexco at the very least. I don't see a trade back in, so I feel as though Na'Vi are in a very good position here.
Braexco caught out, gone down, G2 in all sorts of trouble, and now FaZe are looking to move in the back of that fight and try and get as much third party. Team Liquid also making the move to the hillside now as well. Everybody comes down out of the compounds into the hills.
Yeah, this forest is about to be really rather scary. And there it is. G2 clean out GamerLegion, but it was a very extended fight, and now FaZe know there's blood in the water, there's weakness to be had, and there's the swift pickup. Nicely shut down. ubah finds NELLOZ. And where's the next targets for FaZe? Looking
down south towards Desperados and Na'Vi are still holding each other at bay. SIMSY gets a nice spray down, catches Senya off guard, Uzi's down, and Na'Vi down to one. Best loss to line, PokeMoldoy and the backside as well, who's making a run for this. This has not worked out in their favor. FaZe continuing, there's the execution squad coming from behind. The hills are alive with the sound of FaZe's ARs.
Yeah, good shots coming out from ubah as well, keeping them tempered, keeping them further back. Na'Vi falling almost here. You have PokeMoldoy, middle of nowhere scenario, getting peppered from NIP pretty far out towards the north. So, I think PokeMoldoy is just like, please, I'm behind the wheel. No, I'm not.
The circle shift has basically given the game to either FaZe or Team Liquid. Team Liquid are desperately running out of their compound and trying to get up that hillside. They have to beat there first. They have to get there ahead of FaZe, but mxey sees them, gives the warning sign. The rest of FaZe, ubah and Aitzy are pushing right up on Desperados.
And mxey's alone here. Fuzzface is trying to get back towards him. If the Desperados maybe put some pressure on FaZe here, they might have spread themselves a little too thin, and that could be exploited. And you know Liquid, if they have the chance at it, they'll take it. SIMSY looking for it, but he doesn't quite see them, and actually it looks like FaZe is starting to fall back a little bit here.
SIMSY's realised it's like they've fallen back away from me. I don't know what's going on. Can I get someone in the back? He does. He sees them, and now Ultra gets the shots on the back. This is a simple scurrying moment for FaZe to try and get to the trees. So it forces them into a 2-2 at the moment. Luckily for them, Team Liquid have not gone on force, keeping two still in the compound, and maybe going to use a UAZ. Yeah, Gemty's gone for a vehicle. I'm guessing some sort of Dacia or a UAZ to try and give them a little bit of cover in the ditches they have, clearly to cover off the field approach that Reciprocity and NIP have.
And now with that knock coming out from SIMSY towards ubah, this means FaZe is in a little bit of trouble. They can't really cleanly win either fight here. Look at Calvin Klein's readjustment on position. He's already starting to focus towards circle. Team Liquid now are allowed a second thing about Reciprocity, who are flying towards them. NIP moving in towards the south as well from the northwest side. Desperados and FaZe, it looked like a FaZe easy cleanup on at least one of these two teams, but the way this has played out, it means that FaZe is now caught in the middle.
Calvin sees Nip in the fields, tries to get a couple of shots on them and stop their approach and keep them out there. Smokes are going out. Well, as Nip, you know they've got a lot of util, a lot of nades. Reciprocity, they're going to get themselves one back up. Samty with the knock onto Shift just as they were about to get out of there. I think that was meant to be a smoke they just tossed out.
It might have been just trying to clear, if I'm honest. Maybe they weren't 100% sure and they can't clear it comfortably because you would overexpose yourself to the hillside.
Well, they moved into that shack. Wasn't Drayden in that shack at one point? So I didn't see. I think
Calvin's finding NIP. There it is. There's the contact. As soon as they ran out of that smoke, Calvin unleashes. And now Miraku's down to very little. Vard's still sitting okay. SIMSY on the move up, still trying to deal with FaZe. So you're seeing plenty of these kind of back and forth fights here. And actually Liquid's gotten away with calming down the scenario.
This is now problematic for FaZe because it looks like the circle's going to pull away from that hillside forestry position. And that basically, you can see from Nip's point of view, right? If they would be safe if Rek weren't there, but because Rek are there, Nip are kind of screwed. But because it's going to pull away from this side, all these little dips and trees, it goes into this open run downhill. And Team Liquid looks like they've adjusted their position. It's down to FaZe and Desperados to fight it out in the hills, though.
Yeah, I feel like FaZe is starting to sweep quite nicely. Aitzy, careful of the blue, mate. Get yourself up. Gets himself in. He's all right.
Well, that nade. No. Was the one returned? I thought I saw one return, but it wasn't.
And Liquid up the circle here. And this whole southern side, 3 teams need... Yep. If someone wants to win from the south right now and it not be a Team Liquid win, they have to cleanly get past the other 2 teams. That's the only scenario where one of them can actually challenge Liquid.
And the vehicle that Team Liquid brought in has given them the cover they needed from Reciprocity in the field. So Reciprocity kind of in no man's land now. They're going to third party as much as they can, but it's now down to these boys going at it. Gaxi done, but Fuzz even steals that away from Desperados.
Yeah, FaZe are holding on to this. They're digging their heels into this hillside, trying to make the best of it. No meek performance here from them. Ultra is the one to suffer. Is the steal coming in from that nade? Not sure. Aitzy did find Monkey somewhere. That was way off in the field, so definitely finding everything going on.
Yeah, they're looking out into the distance. Monkey down, Shiv bleeding. SKUIJKE, the blues on their back. They've got to get out of there. This is time to jump in a car and try and make a move for it. Instead, they're going to try the smoke and the fields, and they seem to be out of ideas, in all honesty. There's not enough smoke for anyone there. Nip are trying to pick up the kills, and IBI will steal one as well. So a bit of everything there. FaZe, Nip, and Team Liquid all finishing in wreck now as we're down to our final 3.
Yeah, and actually FaZe did manage to win the fight cleanly enough against the Desperados. So it's game back on, and Vard finding the end on Jeems. That was a pretty fast shot as well. That's across this current circle. So a good 2 and a bit 100 meters, maybe 3 at most, but a comfortable shot for him.
Much needed points for NIP here. It's going to put them ahead of G2 in terms of the current table, but there's still a bit of work to do to try and get ahead of them in terms of PGC points. FaZe starting to spread, starting to flex the muscle. They're kind of in this dip. Now that's a danger because they could have Team Liquid approach one side, NIP come over the other, and FaZe gets sandwiched in the middle.
I think they're aware of this. They're living within that kind of dip in between the 2 hillsides. If they push towards NIP, the exposure towards Liquid would get them done for. So they're kind of having to be reactive rather than proactive, and I like FaZe when they are proactive in the games, but it doesn't always allow for it.
mxey, the backman. They're just waiting to see where this goes. 9 kills and counting for Liquid. Still SIMSY with a couple of vehicles to play with. I don't think they're going to make use of them. It works out well. It's NIP, the team that's going to have to move 2 into basically 7 guns pointing their way.
Also, can we just appreciate we're going to have a 4-on-4 potentially between Liquid and FaZe here?
Yeah, love it. Love it. On classic Erangel as well. It's like, where else would it be? Miraku spotted by SIMSY in the distance. Trying to catch some vision of him.
Spidey senses are tingling.
Samu senses. I really don't know what Nip can do from this other than get a lucky shot. But Vard caught out from the tree. Blue's on his back. Just about the worst time to get a knock. And that's going to leave Miraku running into either the arms of Liquid or FaZe. One of them is going to confirm the kill. Liquid will get their 10th kill. And now Miraku also spotted in that smoke. FaZe bullets coming his way. ubah looks like he wants to get it.
I was waiting to see when these 2 teams started to worry about each other, and I actually like the way that Jeems and IBI were starting to move up the circle a little bit. I think they're trying to force the fight between NIP and FaZe, and if there's like a go-off point, then they'll just jump on the back of it. And obviously this side needs to be kept controlled by Liquid. Now it's game on. But look at Fuzzface's position. The high ground that they have currently actually is pretty strong against Liquid, who are working on the low ground a little bit here. And they didn't race up the hillside either. So this is a bit of an even battle between these 2. And it is the battle of the giants.
And the central position is pretty much the top of the hill. It's almost like it's king of the hill mode between the 2. 11 kills for Team Liquid. I haven't seen what FaZe have had. And remember FaZe, don't forget they took that really wide rotate. They went over Sosnovka. There was whatever caught them off guard and made them move and made them revert back to the Sosnovka play that TSM also played, mainly down to G2 trying to catch them off guard. SIMSY with 5 kills and counting. Another big performance from Samu, who's had a really good performance this season.
He's trying to hold the field. He's basically trying to allow the 3 other players to have some sort of freedom and access to be able to just focus on the top of the hill. But it's a very weakened position in comparison to FaZe's that can hold that similar angle. And looking at the center point, I'd say FaZe has the kind of run off the hill cover to maybe work more with it. But now it's smoke time.
So it's a 3-1. SIMSY is the anchor. using all these smokes that they're tossing out. SIMSY's like, I'm over here, guys. I'm over here. Look at me. Look at me. Jeems and Ibby are the ones that are sweeping around with Gemty. Remember, Gemty absolutely crucified them on Miramar earlier on. Got all 3 members of FaZe down. Jeems spotted out early. Fuzz tries to trade with him. He can't manage to land the shot that he wanted. mxey comes in and supports him. That's 1 down for Team Liquid.
Yeah, so far looking pretty nice for FaZe, but Gemty's response towards Fuzzface keeps at least the south side under control. If they get mxey down, then it's game back on for Liquid.
SIMSY just ate a big slice of health there. Ibby sitting in the smoke, trying to play them off guard. Fuzzy's actually getting revived by mxey, but Ibby manages to finish him off. That's 2 down. Ubah is the last man along with Aitzy. And these 2 boys have done it for FaZe so often. Aitzy will get 1. Ibby down. SIMSY now out in the smoke. Gemty, the 2 brothers, got to work it out.
Aitzy's seen him. Aitzy sees SIMSY. If he gets a clear line of sight on this, he has the safety of the smoke. Oh, but Ubah tries to make the peek. The call was made. It's a 2v1. Or is it?
It's a 1v1.
It's a 1v1.
SIMSY, Aitzy knows exactly where he is. Just goes around to the tree. He's going to have to first aid it up. SIMSY's hanging up. He's got to hear the first aid. He's looking for it. He knows he's in the smoke. 29 bullets. He's going to go for the first aid in the smoke himself. They're both almost in the central point. SIMSY is closest to the center. Aitzy's just going to try and spray through the smoke as much as they can. It is literally find the shadow.
Call's been made. Teammates have been knocked around. They know where each other are. This is the spray. And
catches it out. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, you love to see it, don't you? You love to see it. Another battle, 4v4 between the giants, Team Liquid and FaZe Clan. And was that another 15-kill game for Team Liquid?
It looked high up in those double digits, and I love that mirrored play. You can see it. They both tried to have anchors. I think it was ubah for FaZe potentially, I'm not 100% sure, trying to hold that deeper angle on the open field, and then you had SIMSY on the other side doing the same thing, and then you had those 3 players trying to fight it out. Really well-rounded battle between the 2. I was a bit worried after that first clean pickup that Fuzzface had towards them, but then the trade backs in. That final battle was so exciting.
You know, they've only had 1 win before this weekend. Now they've got 4. What a weekend for Team Liquid so far.
Here we are with Team Liquid. We called it last, I think it was yesterday even, we said you're back. Incredible play there at the end. Were you guys all feeding information? There was a lot of communication happening, or were you just keeping quiet, keeping cool, and just popping off heads?
Yeah, we knew exactly where they were, so we just were quiet and let everyone play themselves.
Do you think that in a way, what we've seen now in the last sort of 3 days is that a lot of the teams, there's these really funny early engagements that are happening, this chaos, because everyone seems to be running and just jumping into fights, obviously starting to be very aware of the leaderboard. You guys kept very cool and calm there. Do you think that that's what's kind of giving you the edge now?
Yeah, definitely. People are going crazy, especially teams like 7. They're just flying in, and we're just playing slow, and we're taking advantage of them making mistakes.
When you saw where the circle dropped, what was the game plan?
When we saw the circle, it was like we counted the smokes. We had 16 smokes. I did like a smoke check. I was like, guys, how much smokes? Everyone kind of play for yourself, use the smokes, communicate. And it was FaZe again, 4v4. It's funny that it's FaZe. And yeah, that's it.
It was FaZe 4v4. This was the fight that everyone wants to watch because it's 2 of what the desk likes to call the big 5. Do you think that this fight kind of highlights the fact that maybe you deserve to be in those top 2 spots that FaZe and TSM are currently sitting in?
Yes.
Yes. Say that louder.
Yes. Yes.
There you go. Team Liquid needs to be in the 2 top spots. That's what they're saying. Well done, guys. Another chicken dinner in the bag. Let's head back to the desk.
That was a big final 4v4 to set things straight there to get our first Erangel under wraps and done. Team Liquid comes out on top. What a great fight that we actually witnessed going down. Sick plays, jumping into the smoke, healing up right next to it. I loved it all.
That ending, it was 4 versus 4, 2 of the big 5 going up against each other. And I mean, both had uphill towards the center. It was even ground for both the teams, and it was down to utility and mechanical skills. Who's the better one? Who's going to be trumping?
I loved especially towards the end where you can see both knocked players, they're crawling towards the smoke to try to get information and give information to the other, and it came down to 100% of one run in the end. Talks to how strong these 2 teams are.
The game almost ended a little bit earlier, actually, because it was a nade that got towards SIMSY actually.
On the one smoke?
On the one smoke.
That was close.
That was a big mistake to only putting down one smoke because then FaZe knew there's going to be a player around that smoke. They tried to nade it, and SIMSY was down to, I think, around 10 HP or something like that.
Yeah.
And that could have been the end for Liquid there.
Could indeed. Let's take a look at the highlights here from that game and even starting things off. Once again, we're getting very fiery starts and even early games. Oof. As everyone runs everyone over. We even saw Team TSM have run one of their own members over. As people are just trying to crash these shacks and get themselves in the right spots.
Well, we saw kind of the similar circle yesterday, and that's why we saw so many people trying to crash the shacks here, because they were expected to be sort of the same ending as yesterday, and they wanted to be in position straight away. They knew that one of the shacks was really good, so hey, they went for it.
There's so much commitment to those spots, and you see so many teams firing in at those spots as well. Is it really worth all the carnage?
I mean, maybe, maybe not. It all depends, of course.
Sure.
At the same time, you take a big gamble when you go to the shacks. You're gonna sack most of your vehicles, if not all of them. There's gonna be people popping the tires, people are gonna throw nades towards you. You're not gonna have any vehicles to move out, so if you're stuck out there, you're basically dead. And that's what happened to Reciprocity towards the end.
Avenger?
Oh, well, this hill, like the control of the hill was so crucial, and I really love the way that FaZe then make sure that they were the last to come in, because they managed to keep 4 guys alive and just kill everything else and made sure the whole hill was clear for them. This fight in the end here, it was so good. Aitzy going into the smoke healing and then SIMSY doing the same on the other side. They must have been aware, both of them, that this was happening.
One smart thing FaZe did as well was the early rotation. They actually went through Subnautica because they knew no one's going to be down there, no one's going to be camping the bridge, everybody's focused on getting into the circle. So they utilized that situation and rotating through the south there.
2 teams, 0 points, ENCE and Digital Athletics, unfortunately for them. DA had a bit of a barney when it came to where they were rocking up and having a very tight spot. I'm not sure what was going on with that spot.
Look, I have no clue what they were thinking. They were literally jumping out in the open without any cover, started smoking out, and this is circle free.
Yeah.
They were nowhere to run where they stopped as well.
It was tough, definitely tough. 25 points though come in for Team Liquid, up to the top. 15 kills. FaZe get themselves 7 kills. Mr. Avenger.
And with this, Liquid has now gotten the most points in 1 week.
Ooh.
With 147, beating the tie with Na'Vi for the 141, which FaZe Clan also had. They also had 141. So now, even with 1 game left, they have broken the record for most points in a week. Nice to see Liquid. They're definitely back.
So let's put it this way: 64 games. Liquid had 1 win. Now in the last 10 games, Liquid have gotten themselves 3 wins.
Yes.
They are preparing themselves for PGC. They're showing us they are hungry. They want to win.
Yeah, definitely so. You've got to be in excellent form if you want to do well at PGC. It's, well, I was about to say it's a sprint, not a marathon for PGC, but it's across 3 weeks. So it's no,
but the weeks are all the stages are obviously also
sure.
very much a sprint as well. So compared to how this league is structured, you have to be much more explosive. But what they've shown us so far in the 14 games here, this is the kind of explosion we want to see from Liquid.
Let's take a look at the overall standings here from all of the teams competing for Phase 3.
This is going to be spicy.
Oh.
Look at 8th place.
Ooh, baby.
8th place, G2.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for G2.
Oh, yeah.
Rough couple of weeks, but they still have a lot of global points coming out from Phase 2, which means they're still ahead of CrowCrowd and NIP, actually.
Right, when it comes to the PGC global points, you're right. FaZe up at the top at the moment. Team Liquid manages to get themselves that secure 3rd place right now, and Na'Vi falls down to 4th. You can absolutely guarantee that a team like Na'Vi is not going to be content with that kind of placement currently.
Sure, but once again, it looks like Phase 2, right? The top 4, they're taking a huge step ahead of everybody else. And the others, they're fighting for 5th and below.
They're taking it in turns of getting these victories, or for someone like a team like FaZe keeps getting second. So when it comes to some of the, if they're not winning the games.
One thing to take away, GamerLegion, they got 9th place, but they did have 7 kills. And look at this, they're making a sprint towards Pittsburgh Knights right now. They don't want to be down in the bottom 4.
No, and DESPERADO has already had some decent amount of games and points here as well. So they have distanced themselves to Pittsburgh Knights as well. So if Knights are not careful, they might be coming down into the bottom 4 if GamerLegion continues, if we get more Northwestern circles on Saturday.
Yeah. All right.
If GamerLegion have another good game here in the last game, I'm pretty sure they might be running for that 12th place next week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
That's what they're doing.
Definitely so. And that is the standings as they do unfold here so far. We have one more game remaining for the week, gentlemen. Here's Na'Vi and N47. And when it comes to how much damage they've been able to put out, the fact that N47 has almost been keeping up with a team like Na'Vi is very respectable.
Very impressive. Also that they have fair share less kills as well, that they're still close to the damage. Talks to how many kills they've been putting out and stats in general. SIMSY, 112.
How many kills did he get recently? Jeez.
Amazing week from SIMSY and Liquid. Holy. ubah as well, breaking the 100. The 100K club, guys. How many will join us this phase? Remember how many we had last phase? I don't remember. 15, 20-ish?
Something like that. We gotta remember there's 20-some games left. It's still quite a lot of room to go.
22 to go.
Yeah.
Not in 100K on Nox though for Doozy yet.
No, he will get that. That's for sure though.
Can we stop saying 100K? Can we call it something else? 'Cause I'm thinking 100,000 kills. I'm like
100,000 damage.
I'd be impressed. I'll be honest. I think it was Lion KK that broke 1,000 kills in
competitive PUBG.
In competitive PUBG over in China.
It was about 2 weeks ago, so I think.
Yeah, like 1,000 kills.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that was nice to see. We're keeping up with the other regions. We're looking in, diving in, you know, getting ready for what PGC is to become. Although Lion KK might not be there, considering.
Oh, taking shots.
Just, I mean, you know, OMG's not been doing great, have they? To be perfectly honest, 13th place in PCL. Was it 13th place? It was.
13th, yeah. But they got 12th in the spring split, so they are gonna go to the PCM.
They have an opportunity.
There's 2 spots.
Not looking good though.
There's 2 spots to grab there, so if they really want it, they could step up. We've got 1 more game to go, guys. FaZe Clan and CrowCrowd both on 99 points for the week, so if they want to jump into the 100+ points club for this week.
100K.
Stop it.
There's a chance for them to do that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Any kind of final points about that game that you want to kind of talk about, or are we just done?
I mean, okay, we saw the head-to-head there between Na'Vi and N47.
Yes.
And we saw that damage-wise, kill-wise, it was pretty even. But point-wise, we're talking about a big gap. And the big reason for that is that N47, they only got 2 wins. Na'Vi, they got 9 wins. So, I mean, basically, that's 70 more points right there.
That's great. You know what also is great? Another Twitter question from #AskPEL. I was enjoying being in Froz's shot for a moment. It was great fun. Reader, read me the question.
If Avenger, Frost, and Calaris are playing squads, what is everyone's roles?
Squads.
IGL, Scout, Frag, squads. And who would be your you go? And who would be your 4th player? Who's everyone's role? So obviously, Frost will be the main designated driver.
Please
Yes,
stop.
I'm the driver, 100%.
Nobody needs that in their life.
So also Scout, obviously.
So meat shield, meet the meat shield.
I'm not that big.
Well, yeah, but you'll
be driving the BRDM.
You can't do
and
too much other
US.
stuff, so we're gonna have you do something at least.
Guys,
the important question: who would be our 4th? I think it would be Richard Sims, the Sims.
Yeah.
If he only agrees to be called the Sims,
yeah,
then he can play.
And neither you or Richard get to call anything.
No, whoa, don't you throw me under the bus. I didn't call that rotation. We're coming back to that stupid rotation. It was not me. Who was it?
Are you still on?
It was Richard and Miniman.
Yes, it was Richard and Miniman, not me.
Oh, you're on about that funny game where you guys died all the time.
Died in the blue.
Yeah.
It was one
driving
game.
around Sosnovka
It was
Island.
like a cozy tournament.
Me and Froz disagreed with the call, and it happened.
No, I made a call. We
to go directly to the island, and I agreed. All right, we're getting passionate about this, all right? We're going to a break, actually. Never mind. We'll see you in a minute.